You doing anything is better than doing nothing. You can pivot 6,000 times, okay, and still be young. Like action really does help your anxiety. And then that volume also helps you get closer to your goals. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great week, a great day. Happy morning, noon, afternoon? What? Happy afternoon, morning, or night. I love you guys so much. Let's get started. How to have free will. I feel like everybody talks about free will, but no one ever really talks about how, and I need to know how. I don't know about you. I was seeing a post that was talking about if you're a why girl or a how girl. I'm definitely a why girl, but when it comes to practical tips and things to apply to my life, I need to know how. It drives me crazy. Okay, and if you're anything like me, you gotta know. So I'm gonna help you guys figure that out on the things that I have also discovered while on this journey of how to embrace more free will into my life. So, first off, what even is free will in the first place? Free will, the textbook definition, I'm pretty sure it's going to be somewhere on this part of the screen, is basically the idea that you have choices, okay, and that you are not being convinced into these choices, that you have the free ability to do whatever you want to do, and or that you know that you have multiple options to pursue and not one course. um and I think that that is a very good way to live our lives, because I feel like everybody thinks that you have to just go on the straight and narrow path, when really the power of the pivot is really what's going to make or break what you're doing. So, tip number one, I would suggest know that you can change your mind. Know that you can change your mind. Okay, whether it is you starting a 9 to 5 or leaving your 9 to 5, both of these things have different consequences, but you have to be okay with the good and the bad. But at the end of the day, you are not stuck. You are not stuck. I know it feels like you are stuck, but you can make one decision and commit to it, and whatever happens is wherever the trajectory is going to go, but you'll never know unless you make that decision. Number two is, like I said, the good and the bad consequences. You are going to have to, I would suggest making a pros and cons list, a SWOT analysis, okay? And really sit down and figure out what are the things that you value. Because when you figure out what you value, that really does kind of cancel out a lot of noise. And I'm not saying that things that are on social media that are showing you what free will can look like, that may not be how you want your free will to look like. So figuring out, is it freedom of time? Is it freedom of, or financial freedom? Is it, I don't know, maybe you're like, I just want to work 3 days a week. Okay, maybe it's to not work. I don't know. Maybe you don't dream of labor, babe, and that's also okay. Um and maybe your quote unquote labor looks different in the first place. And I think social media does a good job of showing you these options, but it doesn't do a good job of showing you the how. I think number three that I want to talk about is that your mindset is really what's going to make this seem more possible than it did before. And I'm not even saying that you have to overhaul anything. And as an overthinker and a diagnosed anxiety girly, it is very hard to do those things. And I know it can be hard for other people to also do those things, because your brain is constantly probably telling you the most negative possible things. And it could be slight. Like you could be like, wow, I'm so happy today. And then your little anxiety talk brain, whatever, is like, well, is it really a good day? Spiral, you know? And you're just like, huh, sue me. You know what I'm saying? But I think even if you make the small effort, the small step, that out of the 1,000 negative thoughts that you have, that you give yourself a little bit of hope. Okay, and I'm saying like a penny sized amount of hope. And I think doing that even makes a difference on your day to day, how you see your life. If you are just doing it, even just a little bit, it is better than you doing nothing. And that is the other part that I want to talk about. You doing anything is better than doing nothing. Doing something is always going to be better than doing absolutely nothing. And I even want to challenge the idea of the bare minimum. I'm not talking about dating in this video. Oh my gosh, no. But I am talking about your mindset. If you are doing the bare minimum to change your mindset, to activate free will in your life, that is better than what you were doing anyway. Because 10% or 5% is better than 0%. And I think that this idea of you doing this complete ultimate transformation, people forget that transformation really does take absolute time. And I talked about in my last video that things that you want to have longevity in take time and that you do not have to rush. I'm going to assume that the people that watch me on multiple platforms are anywhere between maybe, I would say the youngest person is probably 18 and the oldest person is probably 30. Now, if you're now, mind you, I did have somebody comment and say that they're 45, which is still young. But regardless, my point being is that you have time. Like you can pivot 6,000 times, okay, and still be young. Like I don't think Gary Vee was talking about this, is that I don't know if the person was 20 or 21, or they were like, you in 10 years you are still considered a young person. A decade can go by and you're still considered young. Like I'm going to be 25 next month. If 10 years go by, I am 35 years old. I'm still considered young. We are not running out of time in the way that we think. So I think that using this free will, and I'm not saying that Dululu is the Sululu. That is not what I am saying. I'm not even telling you to do it for the plot because I feel like it has this weird negative connotation as of late, as of now, whatever. But I do think that you can adapt these things to your life and your life will change, because I have been watching a lot of creators, and now I'm not saying that this is the cure for anxiety, but a lot of, and this is coming from somebody who got the paperwork, okay? Um and I think that when I make a decision, it does make me feel a little bit better. The mulling over in my brain about what to do, how to do it, is going to drive me crazy. It's going to drive you crazy, really. But if I make a decision, even if it's not fantastic, okay, I'm not going to lie. Not every single video I post, not every single thing I'm like, yep, this was the masterpiece of the year, okay? Not everything, but I post it anyway. I post it anyway. I do it anyway because I have seen, and it's a weird connotation, context. Okay, concept. No, concept. Yes, it's a weird concept to think about because, um, I want to be a content creator. I am a content creator, but I want to keep growing. I want to keep growing the family. I want to keep growing the community, and I want to expand. I want to expand my business. I want to do all of these things, right? And I think part of that is I've seen my dream happen for other people so many different times. Now I am human and I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, why is that not me? And da 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 da. But I did see this post that was like, action really does help your anxiety, and then that volume also helps you get closer to your goals. And I think applying free will to that, just, it really does catapult it, because if you know in your mind that you have the ability to make different decisions, and get not over, but know that you don't have to be in decision paralysis and you can work through it. I feel it gives people more hope to do what they want to do. I promise, like, I, at least for me, and I hope that this is, and I always say that I hope this community is helpful to you. Um, because it's not always about me. Okay, it's about you too. It's about you always, really. Um, that free will gives you the realization of choice. And some people don't realize that they have a choice. And I feel like I'm rambling, but I love this topic because you knowing that you have the ability to change, to mold, to transform, honestly gives more people power. Like, yes, you see all the people doing all this stuff. I need you to focus on your grass and knowing that your grass can grow, knowing that you can be those things. Like, and I get people gatekeep, people whatever, but the volume, you continuing to create, you continuing to show up, you continuing to clock it, doing those things, right? You're doing more of your goal. You're getting more of um on your track record. Something has to hit. Okay? Something has to hit something in the right way. And I think knowing that gives should give you the motivation, not even motivation, because motivation is a very fragile emotion. And I'm not even talking about, you know, discipline either. I'm really talking about the eureka, I guess, of, hey, you know what? If I decide to make a conscious decision to do X, every day, every other day. You weren't doing it beforehand. You weren't doing anything towards it beforehand. And for my girlies that get stuck in the ideation phase, because, ooh, I don't know about you, the ideation phase, the planning phase, I love me a little planning phase. Oh my gosh. Girl, I don't even know. I don't even know what it is about it. I love it. Get on Pinterest, little music. I am rebranding, but it is the realization that this vision board, this rebrand can be real. That I can make the active decisions to make this a possibility. I'm not saying that this will not be hard. I'm not saying that anything that I say is not hard, that you may not feel lonely, that people may, I'm not even guaranteeing you that people will understand why you're doing what you're doing. What I'm saying is that I hope you know that you have the free thought and the free ability to change and to adapt to whatever you're trying to do. And then on top of that, it's okay to try. It's okay to look like you are trying, because at the end of the day, people are in their own wormhole of thoughts. They might look at you for 2.5 seconds and they're thinking about a million other things. Like, I don't know what the statistic is, but we have like 10,000 thoughts a day, and you might be one of those thoughts, but out of the other 9,999 thoughts, I think you'll be okay. I think you'll be all right. And honestly, who cares? They're worried about what they have to do, and you need to be worried about what you want to do, don't want to do, and even what you desire to do. And those things are so important. And if I can, I don't know, get anybody up in this video, or get anybody to feel empowered, or any sense, like, I got you feeling a little flicker, okay, of gumption, gall. I don't know. I'm throwing out vocabulary words like this is a test or something. Like I'm your fifth grade vocabulary teacher. I don't know. But If I'm able to make anyone feel any ounce of anything, I feel like I've done my job, because I truly don't want my audience to feel limited. Now, mind you, I understand I know that there are certain things that we cannot control. There are so many things going on that we cannot control. But I do hope that it doesn't diminish your want to for your life. That it doesn't diminish the I wish I had the words, and I honestly wish that I could like hug each and every one of you and just speak these words over your life. But you have one. Okay, you have one. I made a TikTok that said, who even says, like, I'm getting, I'm not flustered, but I'm getting excited, I guess. I made a TikTok a couple of weeks ago, and I said that do it in this lifetime. Do it in this lifetime, because who is to say that you even get to do it in the next one? Because I kept seeing videos and comments of people are like, well, maybe in the next lifetime. What? You are 21, 25, 27, 37, 45, whatever. In the next lifetime, girl, are you serious? Do it in this lifetime. I get so scared when I see that comment, and I'm just like, no, do it now. Don't give up. Don't give up. Please. Like, who's to say that you even have that opportunity? You know what I'm saying? I truly believe that saying, well, maybe in the next lifetime, no, do some ounce of it today. And I understand money is everybody's issue at the moment. And I I I truly get that. I'm not the richest girly on here. Hopefully. Shoot, one day, okay, we gonna be going on like retreats, and we gonna be going on retreats one day, girl. Me and you. Okay? But I understand it, but maybe it's setting aside, some money from your job. I got bills, you got bills, everybody got bills. Okay, maybe you set aside $10, right? And maybe you use that $10 to go to a coffee shop to write out what free will or what life you would even want to have in the next year, right? And maybe you sit down and you plan out what you need to do to make that possible. that is that is astronomically farther than where you were maybe like 5 seconds ago. So yeah, free will, everybody. How to have free will. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed having this conversation with you. I love you guys so, so much. And I hope that this got to someone. Kisses and hugs for you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.